Okay, here we go. Part two of something. Building a REST API. Don't know why it flopped down like that. With Node.js, Express, and MySQL. It's going to work this time. Tried to do it yesterday. It failed utterly. I tried to do it a couple of minutes ago, and I couldn't get Reclaim Cloud Dashboard to open. Now it finally opened. So I think the story here is you can only have it open in one window at a time. That might be a Firefox thing. It might be a web hosting thing. Who knows? Anyhow, it's up, it's running, everything's good. So, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to, as it says, build a REST API with Node.js, Express, and MySQL. And the reason why I'm doing this is because Grasshopper, which runs on Perl, is having all kinds of issues with UTF-8, and specifically trying to create an API so that I can post UTF-8 content, especially the complex content like Chinese or whatever, to my website. You can do it just ordinary posting, but I want to use JavaScript and fetch to send content to the back end using the API. And it's the body of these fetch post requests that Perl can't handle. If all that sounds like gibberish to you, fine. We don't need to worry about it anymore because I'm trying something new. And what I'm trying to do new here is to build this REST API with Node.js, Express, and MySQL. Now, like I say, I had all kinds of problems yesterday. One of the things was with the dashboard environment and a bunch of other things. So after my video yesterday, I did some poking around and some looking up of websites, and most importantly, some complaining on Mastodon. And I got some advice, and I found enough resources, and I was able to step my way through it. So today, it's going to work. He says, hopefully. So I've got my video running here, recording live, so there may be boring bits if we haven't had boring bits already. But that's the way it goes with the video series called Stephen Follows Instructions. So, to do this now, I'm going to need to build a cloud environment with Node and Express in one container and MySQL in another container. So I'm going to the reclaim.cloud dashboard. To get there, you just enter the URL reclaim.cloud. I'd make all of this bigger for you, but it's very difficult to do. I'll see what I can't do. Let's see, browser tools, settings, and we'll try to. I tried making the zoom bigger, and that didn't work. So I can make the font a bit bigger for you. So I'll set it to 24, which is pretty good. Now that doesn't fix everything. Like, it has zero effect on this interface. And similarly, if I try to, oh, well, that made it better. Okay, so I'm controlling and using the mouse scroll wheel to make that bigger. So that'll help. So if I need to make it really big, I'll just do that. Although a lot of the text, you notice, isn't really going to change that much in size. Anyhow, so here we are. As you can see, I've got a bunch of other stuff running or stopped or whatever. This is the one I built and finally made work yesterday, up and running. But I'm going to start from scratch with a nice, clean, new environment. So how do we do that? So I'm going to go new environment. Now, this is the Jelastic interface, and it's already defaulted to Node, but and just some caveats here. Reclaim's cloud interface is way easier to work with than DigitalOcean or Amazon or any of the rest of them. That comes at a price, because the way it achieves that easiness is with this program called Jelastic. Jelastic is what manages this interface that we're looking at here. So we're going to hit some some instances where that becomes a bit more confusing. So to make my application, see, I can choose my application server here. I could make it Java, PHP, Ruby, but why would I do that? Or I can even make a custom container image, use a Docker engine, a Kubernetes cluster, whatever. I'm going to use Node.js. Okay, and then I want SQL and specifically the Maria database. So, and we're going to use the most recent Node.js. The article that I'm building this on uses Node 14. I want it to be more modern, so I'm using Node 16. Will that cause a problem? Well, it might. Who knows? So this is the scaling. I can scale this up or down. Right now, it's going to cost me anywhere between 71 cents and $1.27 a day. I could probably afford that. If I can't, I can just make everything a bit smaller. Right, so I'm gonna make it all the way down to like super cheap, but we'll leave it basically where it was, 71 to $1.27 a day. I'm not really gonna worry about that now, because the amounts here aren't very big. That's the other thing with Reclaim. The costs are pretty manageable. Not as cheap as just using a cPanel website, but we're getting a lot more flexibility here. Okay, so I'm going to create this environment now. So here we go, create. So what's going to happen? Well, it's going to sit there and create for a little bit. So it's creating environment 3877043. So we have to sit here and wait for it. So like I said, sometimes this video gets a bit boring. So while we're just doing that, I'm just going to pop open a new window here and go into new Blogger post, and we'll select my half-an-hour blog, and we'll make a new post, setting up Node.js application in Reclaim Cloud. So first of all, okay, so here's the link to create a new environment. Create a new environment in Reclaim Cloud. And oh yeah, all the text is bigger. And so there's a resource here. There it is. Didn't make it a link for some reason. I don't know why. Oh well. I selected Node.js as my application and MariaDB as my SQL database. Maria is just an open source version of MySQL. Okay, so see, and it does appear to have built that for me. I'm just going to capture an image of what it looked like. So Node and then MySQL. So let's just capture that image. So function insert. There we go. And can I just paste that? Well, let's save it. NodeDB1, we'll call it. And then we'll insert that image here. Inserting the image, insert image, upload from computer, choose files, there's the image, and select, there we go. And we'll make it a bit bigger. I only have one cat with me here. I had a little bit of an episode chasing cats. out of this room earlier, and okay. All right, so that's the first step. Now, that should have produced my interface, and in my email, it's going to have given me some information about that. So let's pop in here and look at my email, and I'll just wait for it to load here. Okay, so here we go. New Reclaim environment, right? And MariaDB node has been added. So we're going to need this information here in a second, but let's do a couple of other things first with our setup. So one of the things that I learned is that we need to create an endpoint for my application to come out. My application is going to use port 3000. So if we come into the Reclaim environment, and come here. So I can never remember how to do this. Right. Oh, right. Okay. So let's actually cancel that because that's not it. Okay. So here we are. Okay. Here's the new application that was made for us. So first of all, I'm going to rename it Node and MySQL, and that way I'll know. I won't confuse it with other applications. You think, how could you confuse? I've done it. So, all right. So that's one thing. Second thing now is I'm going to look at the environment topology. Or no. Where is it? It's here somewhere. Settings? No. Oh, settings, endpoints. There we go. So I need to add an endpoint for this. Now, I could have used, a load balancer or something like that. I don't need one. It's not going to be a widely used application, and Gelastic can manage this for me if you know what Gelastic is doing. So I'm going to add an endpoint. So my name, I forget what my name will be, probably doesn't matter. So I forget what I called it before. I'll just call it Downs. And we'll set the private port at 3000. Protocol, and the public port will be set automatically, and then here's the access URL. So we go straight into that. So we'll add this. I don't think the name matters at all. No, it doesn't. All I see is you can just choose just different names for things. So, but 3000 isn't any of these options. So, okay. So I'm going to add this. So you see it has chosen port 11977. And so that's the port that it will actually be accessible at, or from this URL. Which actually gives me, node ID is 11977. So the actual port that it's using is 11008. Yesterday I think it was 11007. So okay, so that's where the application will be accessed. So we'll leave that for now, and we'll just close this part of the window. All right, so we're kind of set up to do our work. So, there's one more thing I want to do, and that is I want to add FTP access to this node. So that's a bit tricky. The reason why I want to add FTP access is so that I can upload my script to it. Yesterday I was doing the editing in the SSH window. Really awkward and hard, and I don't recommend it for anyone. But with a little bit of setup, I can give myself FTP access, or more accurately, SFTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol. So, but I need to do some things for that. First thing I need to do is generate a key pair. So this is a real pain in the neck. So basically I'm creating a public key and a private key. A public key is actually kind of like a lock. I send it to someone, will click it on my resource. The private key is like the key I use to unlock my resource. So it's easy if you're working on Linux or Apple because it's all based on Linux, and so you just enter in this command. If you're using Windows, it's harder. You can either install OpenSSH or Linux. It's Windows Subsystem for Linux, which is what I have. Or you can use a program called PuTTY to generate keys for yourself. I use Linux via WSL, so I've already installed that. If you're at this point and you don't have any of these things, I actually recommend you use PuTTY and just generate the keys using that. There may actually be a way of generating the keys directly from the FTP client that I use. I use a client called WinSCP. You can't really see it. It's by, Microsoft doesn't allow me to. There we go. It used to be you can look behind me. There it is. WinSCP. Let's see if there is a way of generating public and private keys straight from WinSCP. So let me look that up quickly. Generate key pair using WinSCP. Okay. Okay, so have WinSCP installed. I do. This is an easy install, so don't worry about this. Know how to connect to the server without. Okay, so if you don't have a key pair, start with generating a new key pair. You're still going to have to use PuTTY. Use the PuTTY Gen application. So let's click on that. Oh, it looks like it is actually right in. Is it? It's included. Oh, okay. So it's included in the WinSCP installation package. So I should actually have it. I wonder if I do. Let's look for all my apps. PuTTY Gen. Because I installed WinSCP. Okay, I got a cat scratching on my chair. No, it doesn't show up here. I wonder if I can launch it from WinSCP. So I'll open WinSCP. Here's WinSCP. Let's cancel that. Okay. Help. No, that'll just take me to some website. Session, commands, open in PuTTY. No, I don't see it. Let's just download it separately. Okay. So, PuTTY download. Well, I don't see it. Oh, here. PuTTY Gen, portable executable. Alright. So we'll download this. Okay, so we'll show it in the folder. Oh, okay. It just opened instead. So it's in my downloads folder now. Let's do that again and actually try to see it this time. Alright. Show in folder. Okay, so there it is. This is actually the application. So I'm just going to move it to my desktop. You'll be able to see it up there. All right. So let's double, it's actually still running here, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so I'll double click on the application. There it is up there in the upper left hand corner. And now it's running. And generate a public private key pair. So generate. So let's move the mouse over to the blank area to generate some randomness. RSA, I probably shouldn't have used RSA. They said some stuff about what kind of key to use. Whatever. So we'll save the keys. Let's save the public key first. And I'm going to save them to a location that I'll remember. SSL. There's the keys I generated yesterday. So there's my hub. There's my public key. And now I'll save my private key. And yeah, because I'm just, there's my private key. Okay, so you can add passphrases and things like that, but I don't really feel like that. So they should be now in that directory. I'm just going to check and make sure that they are. Users, Steve, I'm the only one who uses this computer, SSL. So there's pub and priv. Okay, so and you can see these are the keys that were generated yesterday. All right. Now, what we're going to do is, so in the instructions now are, so this is the generating a public key and generating and using SSH key pairs. So let's go first with generate an SSH key pair. To generate an SSH key pair. Resource that's not my resource. I want the URL, not the title. There we go. Okay, so I'll just put that in here. Okay, the public key is like a lock. The private key is the key that opens the lock. Never share it. Okay. So, like I say, I used the putty thingy. So let's come back here. Download PuttyGen portable executable here. Okay. Putty, what was it called? I'm trying to do videos and I have the memory of a, I don't know, stone. I can't even find the download page. That's so stupid. Where'd it go? Firefox settings page, right. All down here it is. Copy. So PuttyGen portable executable. PuttyGen portable executable to create the keys. For Windows. Okay. All right. So generate an SSH key pair. All right. The next thing now is to use it, right? So this is all the instructions for Linux. So, and okay. So now we're going to go to adding it to the Reclaim Cloud account. Okay, so SSH keys. So under user settings, So where are we going to find that? See, so log into your Reclaim Cloud dashboard and click Settings button at the top right. Okay, so there's the Settings button. I don't need this. Settings button at the top right. SSH keys. And we're going to add, see, there's the one that I added yesterday. I'm going to add a public key. And the name is, I don't know, we'll call it second key. And the key is going to be here. Now, I actually have to add the text of the key here. So what I'm going to do, here's where my key is. Here's my public key. I'll open this. I did a right click here and open with. And I use NoteTab Pro for stuff like that. NoteTab might work as well. I just love NoteTab. But, you know, your mileage may vary. So here's the key. I'll copy it. And I'll paste it into the space. And now I'll add it. And so I've added my key. And I should get some email. There it is. SSH key has been added. All right. So now I can use this key to access my new website using SFTP. So new SSH key has been added. All right. Now, okay, for additional details, refer to the documentation. Right? Or for connection using any SSH client. So, username 89, authentication, SSH key. So, what we're going to do now is we'll open WinSCP. So this is WinSCP. We saw this earlier. Okay, so it's going to be a new session, new site. So file protocol SFTP. There's the host name. So let's find the host name from that email. Yeah, it doesn't say. Oh, here we go. GateMyReclaim.cloud. Username 89. Why do I think this won't work? Because it's different from what it was yesterday. See, here's what it looked like yesterday. Oh, yeah, okay, it's the same. All right. I think I might have actually clicked on manage SSH keys or something like that, but let's try this. Okay, so host gate my reclaim cloud, copy. Yeah, okay, I guess I thought there'd be different accent. Oh, well, whatever. Let's try this. Okay, gate, paste, and okay, username. Got a train going by in the background, 89. Oh, yeah, isn't that lovely? I do love trains. Okay. Oh, come on. Right, username 89. So username 89. And now, advanced. And then connection. Or maybe SSH. No, connection. Can never remember where this is. I know it's on one of the top ones. Where is it? Key exchange. No. SSH. environment. Can never remember where this is. It's a little drop down somewhere. And you have to remember where it is. And I can't find it. Once again, I can't find it. It's so common for me to just not be able to remember where this thing is. Let's see if the help will tell me. Okay. That's not it. Okay, importing. Here we go. Generate your SSH key pair. Okay, this is a site called ExaVault. Okay, so login, new site, advanced authentication. Okay. So cancel. Okay, new site, advanced authentication. Oh, so I could just generate it right here. Or I could install public key into server. I guess that's the one. Let's check that instruction. Authentication. I'm supposed to display public. It's different. Or maybe I'm just understanding it differently. Private key file. There we go. priv.ppk. See, so display public. Okay. All right, that's all I need to do. So, yeah, SSH authentication and then private key file. It looks like I could actually generate the key pair right here as well. I might try that later since I accidentally checked that. All right, so let's click OK. All right. So I should be able to just log in now. Searching for host. And yeah, it's not working. And why is that? Probably because this host is wrong. So, because it probably should be using port 3022. Okay, let's back out of that. So 3022. Log in. Okay. Is the host running an SFTP server? Oh, I don't know. Okay, so this is a bit different from yesterday. All right, let's see now. Try to remember what I did yesterday. Yeah, see, username. All right, let's go back to that message. Manage SSH keys. Oh, it's just going to pop this open and it's just going to do nothing. Okay. We're still stuck trying to figure this out. Okay. Import. Okay. You'll likely be prompted. Okay. Yeah, this is what I got yesterday. So there's something weird about my instructions here. Refer to the documentation on SSH access. Okay. So this is that very same site. Okay. Virtuoso as WebSSH. Okay. That's not helping me. Oh, it's Virtuoso Pass Solutions, previously known as Gelastic. Okay, that brings it all together. Okay. This is so annoying because I made it work like right away yesterday. And I just can't remember what I did. That happens to me a lot. All right. Let's come back to that email. '89. What was it yesterday? SSH key. It was 89, right? Username 89. It was exactly the same. But I generated the keys differently. Maybe I loaded the wrong key. That could be. That could be. Local. Session. New session. Advanced. Authentication. Private key file. priv.ppk. Display the public key. That looks okay. Assume it's the same key as before. No, this looks different, doesn't it? Okay, the host name. Username is 89. Host name is whatever was in that email. Was it 3022 yesterday as well? I assume it was, yeah. All right. Let's try this again. 3022. Log in. Cannot initialize SFTP. It's not going to work, but you try it anyways. Help. Okay, that didn't help me at all. Okay. Let's try it with the old keys that I made yesterday and see if I get a different result. So instead of, okay, so load the private key, authentication, private key. This is the one I made yesterday. Okay. Log in. Nope, same error. Is the host running an FTP server? Well, maybe it's not. I don't know. choose application, and yeah, it's Windows, so there is no application. Okay. Here we go. The SFTP link is different. See how it's 9720 at 89. Okay, so let's just copy that whole thing. And we'll come back up here. No, we'll come into here. Session, new session. Just put the whole thing in like that. Let's put our proper key in here, the one we just made, not the old one. So this one here, prive.pbk. All right. So here we see username is different. It's 9720-89. Log in. Public key service despite. Oh. And we're in. That was kind of weird. And we seem to be in an Nginx box. So I wonder. I think it might be different. Okay, I'll close that off. I think it might be different for accessing the actual Node application server. Let's see now. Web SSH config log. Yeah, nothing there. No. Don't need to restart it. Okay, here we go. SFTP direct SSH access. This is for the Node server specifically. Here we go. So see, now we have again a different user. This will get so what has happened? By following the instructions for this top one, I went into, as we can see, a default Nginx application that's used by I still call it Gelastic until I can learn the new name. But now I'm going to create a new session, a new host name. There it is. And I'll add my key again, authentication. Do this enough times and I'll remember it. Prive.pbk. Okay. And now we'll open. We'll log in. And now, yes, now we are in the Node.js server. So, success at last. It's hard to remember this stuff, I tell you. Okay, so let's just write down some instructions here so I don't forget for the future. Okay, 3, access the Node.js environment using SFTP. Okay, so now I use, the program is called WinSCP for FTP access. Okay, so to load private key. Okay, how did I load the private key? Session, new session. Okay, so I'll come back here. session, then new session. Click on advanced. Right. So session, new session, click on advanced, click on SSH authentication. So let's come back to that. Click on SSH authentication. And then select, what are we going to select? We're going to select private key file. Click on three dots to the right. Select the private key created in the previous step. All right. And then you're going to click OK. Right. So priv. And then click OK. Right. Okay, so then click OK. All right. Then to find where to connect, or not, to find the SFTP address to load. All right, so we go back to the Reclaim cloud environment and highlight the Node.js server. And let's create an image there because that's hard to find. So back here. So let's just close that. All right, so we'll just save it like that. Function insert. Okay. Oh, crap. Let's try that again. Function insert. All right. Okay, we'll save this. Oh, we're going to mark it up first. I've forgotten which thing I click on. Again, right? Settings. No. No. Right, there we go. Right, let's make this the image actually. Function insert. Except I don't want that in my image. All right, there we go. It's hard. Okay. All right, there we go. That'll do it. There's my image. All right, so let's mark this up. Okay, let's mark this up. All right, there we go. And we'll save this. And we'll call it NodeDB2. All right, and back to here. And select settings, key or icon, and pick, what was it, SFTP direct SSH access. Okay, and let's add that as an image. Upload from computer, choose files, there we go. Select, there we are. Yeah, I know this isn't as exciting, but it's useful to review this stuff. And now next. Get the address from the display. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's very simply, we'll come back into here, click on it, there's the address, right? So I will highlight this. And we'll snip this. And I'm going to circle this again. Maybe I'll make this a bit thicker. All right, we'll save that. We'll call that NodeDB3. And we will now go into post, add the image, upload from computer, choose files. See, the reason why I'm doing this and going through this is, yeah, it might help you a little. It'll help me a lot more, right? Because now I'm reviewing all of these steps twice after I figured out how to make them work, right? So, because you saw, even though I'd done it yesterday, you saw how much I struggled with this. And now, working it out again, now I'm writing this down. So if I struggle with it again, I have a written record. I can look it up. But writing it down is also going to make it easier for me to learn. So maybe I won't have to look it up again. All right. And then enter that into the address field for SFTP, no, for Win SCP, and we'll just show that entered. So what'll happen is, as it turns out, right, you can just paste it here. So let's actually copy it from here. Let's copy it from, come on. Okay, copy it from Reclaim Cloud, and we just copy it like this, and then we come back into here, and I can just actually paste the whole thing in here, and it'll know, right? It'll reset all of these things, I think. Let's just capture this first. So function insert. Okay, log in. Yeah, that's what it did. So I'll save this, and I'll just put a little arrow here. Save this as NodeDB4. There we go. And now we'll put that into the article. And I'll bounce around through different windows first before I get to the article. Okay, add the image. Select. Make it a little bit bigger. And you should see the contents of the Node.js server in the right-hand window. And do we? Yes, we do. There they are. Some things to note. The directory root is the default Node.js application created by the platform but we don't need to use this. Some guides recommend deleting it entirely. And I'll try to spell entirely correctly. There we go. Anything else to note? That might be the only thing to note for now. Okay. All right. That's all we need to do now. Okay. Good. All right. So we're moving. We're moving forward. Yes. Let's celebrate with a bit of coffee. Now that we've done all of this, we can go back to... See, now we're set up, finally, to do our REST application. Let's go back to our article. So our article, now this is the stuff we went through numerous times yesterday. So now we want to go into PHP MyAdmin. So, okay. So, what is this? 3, 4? 4. 4. Set up the database. Okay. Go to PHP MyAdmin in the cloud environment. The address be in the email Reclaim sent to you. Okay, so let's go to that address. So new Reclaim Cloud environment, MariaDB, Node added. So actually I'll take that title and just make it clear which email it is. Titled. Right. Okay, now let's go to that email then. Not to that, we don't need that anymore. Go to that email, MariaDB node, PHP MyAdmin, and now we use the following details to access and manage this node. So I won't copy this, but you get the idea. So I'm going to click on this to go directly to that address. Oh, link mismatch. Huh. The link he just clicked seems to lead to another site than what the link text indicated. Oh, isn't that interesting? Huh. Okay, if I click, I wonder where that's going to go. No, 19, okay. Yeah, so you see, I guess we hit a redirect is what happens. We end up in the same place. So here we are, phpMyAdmin. Okay, so I'll enter in the data. So login is root, Control C, and there's the password. Which I probably shouldn't share, but these things have a habit of not lasting very long the way I go through them. All right, so here we are. So now we'll make a new database. Oops, databases, new database, create database, database name, we'll call it node SQL. Okay, now remember from yesterday we want our character set to be UTF-8 MB4 general CI. The 4 instead of the 3 is what allows us to have characters that are 4 bytes long rather than 3. So it lets us include Chinese and all of that. So we'll create that. Okay, so there's no tables. So now, create a new database and then add tables. I'm using the tables suggested here. And where's here? Here. Okay. All right, so let's just paste that in there. Okay, so we'll create our table just like yesterday. Control C, and we'll put that in. Put that into phpMyAdmin. Okay, so we'll go to my table, SQL. Okay, so there's create the table. And that'll create the table. Excellent. And then we'll run some more SQL and add some demo rows into it. Now there are other ways to insert these tables, but this is the easiest for me. This article suggests a few things, right? But this will do. So go back to the phpMyAdmin. Okay. All right. Go. Okay. So we've done that. Now life gets a little more interesting. So now we need to set up Express.js for our REST API. So we're going to need to do a few things. So let's go back to our instructions. 5. Set up Express.js for our REST API. Our node.js application. I'm installing Express.js. I'm installing Express.js. Okay, so how do we do that? Good question. So first of all, we need to SSH into, oops, must have caps lock on. Nope. Oh, come on. Okay. That was kind of weird. All right, so how's that? Okay, that still looks okay. All right, I assume I'm still streaming. Yep, good. Okay, so we need to SSH. So open an SSH window into the Node.js application. And how do we do that? We do that by closing this. And so here's our application. That's open in browser, but this is web SSH. And that's what we'll do. So I'll just make an image of that because it's a bit tricky. All right. And I'll put a little red circle around it. And we'll save that. And call it mode B5. Alrighty, we'll save that, and then we'll put it into my little article. Insert image, upload from computer, choose files. So many steps just to add an image. It's kind of annoying. Select, make it a bit bigger. There we go. Alright, there we go. So let's do that. Okay, so let's do that. Okay. And so it opens in the bottom half here. I could also use my own standalone SSH application and access it similar to the way I accessed the SFTP. This is a lot easier, and I'll make this big so we can see the whole thing. There's no way to make this text bigger. I've tried any number of different things, and it just seems always to stay the same, so sorry about that. Just make sure at least that you're not blocked behind my beautiful face. Okay. Then, okay, so make dir programming languages API and then change directory into it. Okay. Make a directory. The application. Okay. Sorry. In the SSH window, make a directory for the application and cd into it. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. I want it to be indented just because it'll look nicer. That's better. Okay, so let's do that. And now we're into it. And then next, run npm to install Express. Run npm I Express. So install the application dependencies, which is, because this isn't the actual application, dependencies using npm. So again, I'm going to do it like that. And then I'll just indent that again. All right, so let's do that. So, okay, it's added all of that. Now, things get a bit tricky. Because the next thing we want to do, okay, so it has now created a package.json file with the dependencies in it. Okay, and we can see that package.json file in the SFTP. So let's refresh. There's the programming languages directory that we just made. I refreshed, by the way, by right-clicking and then hitting refresh. Double-click on programming languages. There's package.json that we just created with the command. So, and in here are the node modules, and there's Express, which we just installed. All the rest of these come with the default distribution. So I'm not going to need all of that, but I would like to have my package files, and I'm going to need to work in this directory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on my local area, I'm going to create a new clean open directory, which I'll call node MySQL. Okay, there it is. And now, and I'll just save these to it. I don't really need the lock file. All right, so okay. So now I have FTP access into this directory that I'm working with. And we need that for the next thing. So the next thing is in the instructions, okay, to create a Slim server in the index.js file. Okay. So the last time I opened up Nano in this environment, and it was a real pain in the neck. So I'm just going to capture this as an image here. And file save. Node DB6. That way people can see exactly what I entered, right? See, adding 57 packages. All right. So, if you think about it, I probably didn't need all of that, but whatever. Okay. Back into my article, I'll upload this. Insert image, upload from computer, so exciting. Node DB6. Select. There it is. I'll make it bigger. Large. Maybe I'll make it extra large. So that you can see what I actually did. Okay. Okay. All right, here we go. And I'm stuck in that. Okay, let's just. Oh, there we go. All right. Good. All right. So I'm just cleaning up the formatting here in my article. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I have Visual Studio Code installed. If you're doing programming of any sort, you really should have Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. It's a free download from Microsoft. I've talked about it lots. So I'm going to File, New Folder, and go into code project, node MySQL. That'll be my folder. There's the package.json file, and I'm going to create a new file called index.js. And now I'm going to take the content here that they've given me. There it is. Copy. And I'm going to put it here. I'm going to save this, Control S, and I'm going to load it to the web server. All right. So the next step is using a text editor. I use Visual Studio Code and a clean directory. Create an index.js file. I used the one recommended in this article. Okay, recommended here. Okay. And I might actually reproduce that code in this article, but I'll do that later. There's no sense taking up valuable screen recording time doing that. Using WinSCP or your SFTP client. Upload index.js to the whatchamacallit directory. Set up the database to the new application directory. In this case, Programming Languages API. All right. Good. So we've done that. Now we need to start the node server. Okay, so we'll start the node server. How do we do that? Okay, run the server with node index.js. All right. So that's pretty easy. I don't have my nice tiny print anymore. Okay, well, I'll just I'm trying to get this specific text style so that you can see my commands easily, but it won't go into it. So what I'm going to do is I'll copy it, and now to make sure that it doesn't change the formatting, I'll hit Shift Control V, and it goes into whatever text style is already there. It's a neat little trick you can use. Shift Control V, pastes the text into whatever format. In other words, it pastes the text only and doesn't change any formatting. So that's pretty cool. All right, so now you would think, right, and you will be told in the article that your server is running at 3000. So we come here to Reclaim Cloud. Okay, let's bring this back down. So we want to open our thing up. And we got nothing. Nothing. Well, actually, even worse, we get that stupid old thing that that was loaded that is contained in that big root application. So if we try it, so if we look at our code, right, our server should be at port 3000. But if we try it on port 3000, 3000, we get nothing, right? It's going to time out, trust me. So the trick here is, remember when we set up our endpoint, let's come back to Reclaim Cloud, right? Come back here. No, was it settings? Yeah, it was settings. No, it wasn't. It was somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Right. Can't remember where it was. Isn't that terrible? This is what happens to you. This happened. I assume this happens to everybody, right? So, and I imagine other people take notes. I often don't take notes because I used to remember everything, and then it was never a problem when I was younger. But now that I'm older, I don't always remember. So, then I set my forwarding. Set up the database. It should be way up here. Create a new environment. Create an SSHP access. Oh, did I not actually record that I did this? How stupid would that be? That'd be pretty stupid, wouldn't it? Create a new environment. Yeah, I forgot to set up the. Okay. Well, we'll have to remember how to do that all over again, because I need to put in the text here. Set up an endpoint for the Node.js application. Okay, so what's my endpoint going to be? I just have to remember creating new environments, generating, I've forgotten. Endpoints, here we go. Okay. So, yeah, see again, it doesn't, okay, it's in settings. Okay. See, a lot of the times the documentation is with other applications, or the icons are different. This is what happens, right? This is why when you're creating an application, pick your icons and stick with them. Because if you change your icons, you're going to obsolete all of your documentation. And that gets really annoying. All right. So, just trying to find where it is. Is it this? No. Oh, jeez. What have I done? Oh, okay. Add-ons, no. Browser, no. Restart. config, logs, statistics. It's got to be in here. Variables. CMD entry point. No. Parts. No. Links. No. Where? Maybe it's in this one somewhere. This? Can't remember. Environment topology. Variables. No. Inputs. Environment settings that opens through selecting the same name button for a particular environment. So environment with endpoints settings. So here's my environment settings. Endpoints, it's up here. Okay. All right. Oh, I wish it wouldn't do that. Okay, so here first. Okay. Select settings. Okay, we'll just save that as node BD7. Set up an endpoint. Okay. Okay, next I'm going to make that number 2 and change all the numbering later. Okay. Click on settings for the environment. It's funny, right? Because oh right, I'm supposed to import this. The reason why I'm supposed to import this is because if I do it the other way, then the image risks getting gibbled. This way I'm uploading a separate file. The file will be stored instead of inserted directly into the text of the blog post. Oh, I should have, oh well, make that large. There's settings. Okay, we can see that clearly enough. Select endpoints. From the menu to the left. Okay, so select endpoints from the menu to the left. Okay, so I'm going to select settings, and there's endpoints right here. Function insert, and I'll draw my. See, if I was doing my own domain, I'd put my custom domain here, and then if I do it like that, then I don't have all this issue with the port numbers. But if I use the default load balancer that comes with the application, which is what I'm doing here, it's going to change that port number, and that's where my access issues come in. So let's circle endpoints here. Okay. We'll call that B8. And save. And upload add as an image, upload from computer, choose files. There we go. And I'll make this, select this, and then make it bigger. I'll embiggen it. There we go. I think you'll be able to see these okay. I don't want huge versions of these images. So, okay, select endpoints, and now, and then click add. So click add. Enter any name you want and 3000 for the port. Note this port number is defined in index.js below. So that way we see the connection between what our application file is doing and what we're setting up the environment as. Okay, so, and then click OK, I guess, something like that. Click add. So I've already done it. So there we go. And then, okay, so click add. The system will select its own public port, which is what you actually use to access the application. Craziness, right? I mean, that's this is what I meant off the top of this video when I said, I mean, we're working with Jelastic. It makes a lot of things easier, but there's a price to pay. That's the price we're paying. So I'll just update all this numbering here for 5, setting up the database, 6. Oh, there is no 6. Okay. Very good. Now, does this work? Well, my application is running. It should be accessible on 1108. Let's try it just from the main default. And there it is. And there it is. Right? And you'll notice it actually gives you another alternative here. It's too wide for my screen. Maybe I can expand this a bit and we'll see the whole thing. Yeah. Right. Copy. And we'll make this narrow again. Okay, there we go. So, which is a little bit different from what I actually used. That's what I used that made it work. Right. Here, we're actually very specifically identifying the subnode. Either way should work. And they both work. This was where I stalled yesterday, right? Because I didn't know about the selecting an endpoint and all of that. So the stuff with the FTP was something that I added just to make my life easier. In theory, it would have been easier, except I forgot how to do all the keys and so on. So that's why I included that in the post that I'm doing, because it's so easy to forget all about that, especially if you're not doing it every day, right? If you're doing it every day, yeah, sure, no problem. you just remember. But if you do it like once every 6 months or even 3 or 4 months, like me, because you're too busy doing your day job to actually do this fun stuff, well, then you forget stuff like this. It happens. Um, Too much knowledge, too little brain. That's the way. It's the way of it. Okay, so let's continue on, shall we? So we're up to here. It's working. Okay, REST API project structure. So we're going to structure our project, it says, in the following manner to arrange our files logically in folders. Okay, so we're going to create some directories. Node modules is already exists. Roots, do we have a roots directory? No, we don't. So let's add a roots directory. So new folder. Actually, well, let's see how they do it. I mean, there's any number of ways I could do it. Okay. So he hasn't. Okay, he doesn't actually say how to do this. But okay, so roots, services, and then these other files. Okay, so let's make the directories. We could either make the directories right in the SSH, or we could make them using the SFTP application. Either way. Okay, so let's make a directory roots. Is it capital or lowercase? Roots and services, all lowercase. You might think that doesn't matter, but it does matter. Okay, so roots. Okay, and we'll make the directory services. New directory services. Okay. So let's come back to. Okay. So this is step 6. 6. Set up the node REST environment. Okay, create roots and services directory under the programming languages API directory. Oh, that's kind of weird. There we go. Okay, and we'll spell directory correctly. Just a little thing, but you know. All right. Okay, let's come back here now. These other files. Okay, db.js, programminglanguages.js. So I'm assuming he's going to tell us how these things are made. Config.js will contain configuration information, etc., etc. So, okay. We know we're going to have these files, but we're not going to make them here at this step. All right. Interestingly, he's working in Visual Studio Code as well. You can see the same icons are on the side. All right. Okay. So we have these 4 services. So, and here are the mappings, basically. Get, post, put, and delete. That's the CRUD stuff, right? Create, read, update, and delete. So now we're actually going to code all of these things. All right. So get popular programming languages. So create the config file. Right, this is the config file for our database. Okay. So let's do that. Okay, so config.js file for the database. Now, normally you wouldn't do it like this. You would use host environment variables and then import them. That way your database information isn't blatantly out in your code like that. But that's not going to work if this doesn't work. So let's make this work, and then if we're feeling really inspired sometime later in life, we can do it the proper way. Oh, keep coming down into that. All right. So here's our, here we go. Here's our, so is it just config or config.js? I forget what he did. Config.js. See, he's not consistent with his naming, right? So here's the config.js. See, he says create the config file, but up here he calls it config.js. I'm going to call it config.js. Copy. All right. So let's now go into VS Code and create a new file, config.js, and put this into it. Now, this this stuff is going to be different for my site. What is it going to be for my site? Let's check and see in the email. MariaDB. So, okay. So, all right. And again, normally I would create some other user and then give that user access rights and then use that information. But I'm just going to go with the default for now. Stupid. Again, the copy doesn't work properly. Root. Now the password. Okay. Again, all out in the open on this video. But don't expect it to be there later. And remember what I called my database? No, I don't either. I think it was oh, it logged me out. Okay, well, let's log back in. And I called it Node MySQL. This will be case sensitive probably, so let's remember that. Node MySQL. This is why JSON is so popular. This is just a JSON structure, right? But it becomes executable code without any translation or anything like that, just by putting it into a JavaScript file. That's why JSON is so much better than XML for all of this stuff. So let's save this and we'll upload it, config.js, in the books. So is found in the email from Reclaim titled whatever it was titled, MariaDB added to your cloud environment. Here's mine. Okay, and I'll just copy it and paste it in here. Okay. Oh. How annoying. text without formatting. Yeah, there we go. And now let's just format that as font size, font type, Courier. There we go. I'll make that a bit smaller too. And font size, small. That's good. All right. And I'll just X out the password because we don't really need to share it with the world. Okay. Yeah, well, whatever. Done only for the demo. All right. Okay, what's next? We'll create the helper.js file with the code below. All right. So what does this do? Get offset function. I don't know what it does. Get offset. Return current page. List per page. I honestly don't know what this does. Just some functions that do stuff. This function is if there are no rows, it'll return an empty array, or if there are rows, it'll return the rows. This is get offset current page, so this will keep track of what page we're on. Module exports. These are the two functions that we just created. Okay. So module exports, see how module exports equals config, right? Module exports equals, so we export the names of the functions that we've created here. Okay, so what did we call this? Helpers? Yeah, helper.js. So let's create helper.js, new file, helper.js. And there it is. And we'll save that and we'll upload it. Okay. I also created other application files, including helper.js, etc., etc. All right. So what's next? Next we have, for the fun part, this is the fun part, we'll add the root and link it to the services. First we'll connect to the database and enable running queries on the database in the services/db.js file. Okay, so first we require MySQL, require config. Oh, he hasn't called it config.js. So I guess it's just config. See, this is the sort of thing that could mess you up, right? So is it just called config? Or is it called config.js? Module exports config, const config. I don't know. I don't know. So we may have to mess around with that if it doesn't work. All right, so services. Oh, I got a cat that needs to get out of here. Okay, hang on. Okay, kitty. Come. There we go. Hi. All right. Live broadcast. Okay. So anyhow, it's in a subdirectory which we have to make. It's in the services subdirectory, new folder, services, just like the one that I set up on the website, and it's called db.js, as I recall. Let's check that. Okay. Services db.js. So let's go into services and we'll create a new file under services db.js and put that content in. So, oh no, that's the other file. So let's get the, okay, so MySQL promise, yes. All right. This isn't it. This is the previous file. Okay, so connection equals, and it's going to try to create the connection using the config.db file. Well, what? Is it config? Module exports query. Okay, I like that. Query SQL params. All right, and then it'll await. Config is require config. Config. Oh, DB. Config.db. Okay, that's where that comes from. Okay, that's fine. Config.db. All right. Okay, so let's save this. This is actually pretty elegant, right? So it creates the connection, and then it executes the SQL and returns the result. The result's going to be this array of results. It'll be a JSON structure, almost certainly. And then it exports this as a query. So query.results, right? Is probably what it'll be. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, let's upload this. So, oh, it's db comma. No. Nope. I'm gonna have to rename this. Rename db.js. .js. There we go. That's better. And yeah, good. db.js. All right. You have to keep your eyes open when you're programming. Next, we'll write up the services programming languages.js file that acts as a bridge between the root and the database. So this is the thing that's actually going to make the query, db query. Okay. So, oh, there's more. Okay. Copy. Services, programming languages. Programming language.js. So services, new file. Programming language.js. So let's look and see what it's doing. It's going to require some stuff. Helper, that's that file that we made earlier. Config, right? Because we're going to need to send it to the database. Required.db. Not sure exactly what that is. So get multiple page equals 1. So, okay. Get offset page. Because, you know, we might get page 2, page 3, etc. Config list per page, await db query. Here's the actual SQL. And notice that we're sending these in as variables. That's interesting. Offset and config list. So in the helpers, get offset. So that's coming from the helper. And then return. I'm going to return the data and the metadata from, and it's interesting. That's exactly how I did it in Perl. You get your data and your metadata back from your query. Okay, so we'll do this, save this, and we'll upload programming languages. See how easy it is, right, with the FTP? Can you imagine doing all of that in like a line editor or something right in the SSH window? It would be horrible, just horrible. All right, moving along. Okay, and now we'll create the roots file in roots programming languages.js. So let's create the file. So in roots, all right. So we need the new directory. So so a new folder, roots, corresponding. Oh, it's ended up in services. Come on. Yes, there we go. We'll create the new file, programminglanguages.js. So roots are the things that interpret the request that came in and then redirect that request to a function. So this one is going to interpret, see, here's our base get, so the default, there's no command or anything, and this is what it's going to send it to. Programming languages get multiple, or it's going to throw an error. And it uses Express to manage all of this. Express is the thing that manages all of this. Okay, so let's do that. Let's define this root. So here it is. Control S, and we'll load that into roots directory. Programming languages, there we go. And to tie it all together, for the final piece of our get endpoint, we need to wire up the root. Yeah, they talk like that in the index.js file as follows. So here we're requiring all of this stuff, the port. Okay, this is the index file from before. So here app.get, here's the default. Or if we say programming languages, now that'll send us to the programming languages root that we just defined. So we'll just take this whole file and copy it over. But what we've added from previously is the code to require the programming languages root, and then to actually use the programming languages root. So let's go to index.js, and we'll rewrite this from the top. Okay, that's good. We'll save this, and then we'll just overwrite the previous index.js file. Index.js. Okay. Is there anything more? Okay. We also added an error handler middleware to handle any errors and provide a proper status code and message. So, okay, so here it's not going to be localhost 3000, right? That would be if you're running it on your own computer, which you could do, but why, I don't know. We're running it in the cloud. Remember, our address is different. Our address looks like this. Let's rerun it and see if it all loads properly. It does seem to be okay. Now let's try it with the programming languages root request. So let's see how they phrase that exactly. Just programming -languages. Okay, does that correspond to what the code said? Yep, programming languages. So let's try it. Let's see what happens. Programming. Hope I'm spelling it right. Languages. And enter. Cannot get programming languages. Why? Maybe let's try shutting down and restarting the server. Okay, where's my server? Here we go. Put this down. Oh, for goodness sakes. Here we are. Right, so here our app is still sitting there listening. This is probably the old one, right? So let's Control C. That'll shut it down, and then let's try starting it up again. Index.js. Okay, we got an error. Cannot find module services / programming languages. Okay. I got programming language. Right, so these should be renamed. So I'll rename this programming languages. Programming language. What's all right. Cannot find services programming languages. Programming language. This probably should be programming languages. So let's change the name. I'm not sure if that was something I did or something they did, so I'll change it here, and then I'll change it on the server itself. Rename programming languages. And let's just check, see if that's an error in the article. Because it could be, you know, I mean, that's the sort of thing that happens reasonably often. Okay, let's come back up here. Okay, services. Helper.js. Oh, services programming language. Huh. And roots programming languages. But here, use programming languages router. I think everything's supposed to be programming languages plural. We'll try that. Let's see if it works now. So we'll come back to our console. Let's try it again. Cannot find module MySQL2 promise. This is tougher. Okay, this is really common with a Node project. You'll probably have to import the module. And you know what could have happened is the author already had it in his configuration, and so it didn't matter. I'm just gonna see see, there's where it's required. Now, has he imported it anywhere? No. No, so this is the only place where this shows up. And, okay, so, that would seem to be a pretty important thing, don't you think? To have this. So maybe there's a previous article where he's installed this stuff, or no. Okay, so he's going to require it. Okay, boy, that's a really big error in this article. Right, we're going to need it. So require, anytime you require something, it's going to need to be somewhere. Okay, so let's see if I can't find this string elsewhere. Control C. MySQL promise, NTM, NPM. Okay. So let's install MySQL promise. I don't think I need to save it. I don't even know what that means. All right, so let's try installing it. So we'll do it the same way we did the Express code. So we'll go back into here. Bring this. Oh, right, it's right here. We'll do it. So here's the command: node npm install MySQL 2 promise. npm I MySQL 2 promise. Oops. Here we go. So let's come back now to my post. Okay. And let's see. Set up the environment. Create the new environment. Create the endpoint. Generate the pair. Setting up the database. Setting up our node.js application. Okay. All right. Oh, let's MySQL 2 promise, which is needed by the application below. Note the instructions at LogRocket skip this. Fails as a result. Okay. Right, so I want my proper formatting. So let's put this in. And just like before, copy this. And then to get my new text in that format, Shift Control V. and I get my text in the format that I want. Okay, so that's really important. Now let's see how it works. Having done that, so let's go back to here and let's see. All right. Okay, so let's now try. Oops. Now we'll try to run the server again. Still a problem. Still can't find MySQL2 promise. All right. Your standard response when you hit something like that and you're not really sure how to deal with it. Put it in quotes in a Google search. Okay, cannot find module MySQL2 promise. Okay, so that's what I tried to do. Oh, I might have to declare it? Maybe. I had the same problem. You could try to use, and that got a -1. I assume that didn't work then. Well, that made no sense. Okay. Okay. Is it in the dependencies? Let's have a look at the JSON file. No, it's all we have in the dependencies is Express. Okay, well this page isn't very helpful. Maybe there's another. Cannot find module MySQL promise. Ooh. And this page doesn't help. You see the error, but not the solution. Let's try more results from Stack Overflow. Always updating the environment using the next command. And there's no answers. Let's try installing MySQL2. I don't think this will work, but MySQL2. also going to see what changes that made to my package file. So that should have updated. Okay, so here are my dependencies. Let's try it now. Huh. Well, except it didn't do anything. Well, it didn't throw an error, but it didn't do anything. It's probably not running. Yeah, it's not running. Let's see if there's anything in the log. Come back to here, come back to here. Yeah, it's not doing anything. All right. Application server, log, node.js log. Three vulnerabilities, not worried about that. Installation finished. That's all old. Package manager log? No, nothing. 1848 UTC was several hours ago. Or yesterday. No. Tuesday, January 3rd. That's today. Still several hours ago. Okay, let's remove MySQL promise from here. And we'll load this back up. And let's see if that changes anything. It didn't give me a message or anything. I can't tell whether it whether it loaded it properly. No, it didn't. Let's remove. Oh, right. Oh, okay. It's probably because it's locked. Yeah, all right. So I can't do that. Node modules. I don't see my SQL in there at all. I'll refresh. Alright. There's my SQL2 and my SQL2 promise. Alright, small promise wrappers. Okay. Oh, problems trailing comma. Oh, that shouldn't be a deal at all. Okay. That was just in the local copy that I couldn't upload anyways. Example usage, require MySQL promise. So let's check. MySQL promise. Let's see. Come back here. Where I was. Damn it, I hate that. Grrr. I don't remember where those instructions were. What was I looking at? I wish I could like back up through the video that I'm recording live. There it is. Okay. Require MySQL hyphen promise. Leave configure, it's the configuration. DB query. Let's try installing it with a save. I don't think this would be anything different, but okay, now when I'm running Perl, what I would normally do if I hit this point would be that oh, this is so annoying. It's sort of stuck partway in one of the windows. I didn't want a duplicate session. Oh, come on. I'm trying to get rid of these things, and yet it seems... There we go. Can't seem to get... Yeah, for some reason they're all coming up maximized. I don't want them maximized. I want them like that. And now my original SSH session seems to be gone. Deployment manager. Whoops. Oh well. Oh, right, because I'm not in the right directory. directory, and it just does that. Yeah, as I was saying, if I was working in Perl, I'd have it make some remarks to me. I'd have it print out a result, but how do I do that in Node? Let's see what this does. Nothing. All right. Why is it not doing anything? Output to the command line. Okay. Console log. If I just put a console log statement in it, will it do that? Let's go to index. Try that. Oh, I see. Cancel. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's reload the index.js file. I wish it would actually tell me that it worked. Okay, it did work. All right, so let's try to run it and see what happens. Reclaim flash, here we go. Okay. Okay, good. That worked. So you can't see it there probably, but here we go. You can see it says started here down in the corner. All right, so I can give myself some sense of what's happening here. Use express.json, app use. Okay. Okay. What I'm trying to do is basically step through this and see if there's a place that it stops without doing anything. There should be an error reported somewhere, but where? You know, I have no idea where. So, yeah. Okay, let's try it now. Started and going. Okay. What was it doing before when it was actually working? It started up the server and it was waiting, right? App use. message console.error. Let's put it in console.log and see what happens. There. Try that. Okay, let's try running it then. Huh. Whatever broke it happened in between started and going. Okay. But the thing is, JavaScript runs asynchronously. So, yeah, it's not always going to happen. Yeah, so okay, that doesn't mean anything. All right. Res status. Okay, let's try this. Console.log using, and then another message, log, and error message if there is any. Control S. Alright, let's try it. Okay, it's not even getting into that from the looks of it. App use. I wonder if it does anything if I don't use programming languages. No, just broken. Okay. Let's remove this. Just trying to get it to a state where it works. And then I can sort of step my way into finding where it's not working. Nope. Alright, let's go all the way back to my original index file. Oh, well, I haven't been stopping and restarting it while I've been making these changes. So, of course, well, because it's not starting. Yeah, never mind. Never mind that. Okay, so let's go all the way back to my original index file. I wonder if there's any comment about this. See, there's errors here too. I'm still not seeing a bit about MySQL2. MySQL2. Oh, where was this? Oh man. Okay, so here's where he did it. To create our Get Programming Languages API, we'll need to link our node.js. So, okay, install in the project root. I just skipped right over that. See, this is an important bit of instruction for people who write instructions. Like, it's been, here's something we're doing, here's how you do it. Here's something we're doing, here's how we do it. And then he's changed right here with this bit, REST API project structure, a bunch of stuff that we haven't done yet, and we're not actually doing. He stopped telling us what to do and just started giving us some background that we don't need yet. So me, the ever stupid student, just eyes glazed over, and so, but I missed. Okay, so I missed this. All right, so to create, so like this whole section should just have been dropped from this article. It's not helpful. Okay, so we needed to link our Node.js server with MySQL. To do so, we use the MySQL2 package from npm, which we can install. So let's go back. We'll install it again. So, all right. Now, I'm going to go all the way back, what I was going to do before, go all the way back to the index file. Okay. Here it is. So let's run this. App listen port. Oh yeah, well that's where it should have been. Is that even in my current index file? I don't see it. No, it's not even in my current index file. Well, no wonder. No wonder it wasn't doing anything. All right, so if I put this in, okay, Control S. Okay. Now we're making some progress here. Okay. So let's reload this. Now when I start up the server, it's going to start. Watch. Okay, node index.js. Voila. And if I come back here, voila. Or not. There it is. A little slow, but it worked. Okay. Now, let's come back to the script that's supposed to be, okay, keeping in mind what we have here. We'll come back down to the script with the actual thing running. Okay, so we need to wire it up. Okay, so you see, I didn't get this little bit at the end. It was clipped off because you see how this scrolls up and down. So I missed some of the end of my index file because this is a real pain. What a lot of people who write these kind of files do is they put a little icon there that allows you to just copy whatever's in this callout window. Okay, let's just keep scrolling up. Okay. Control C. Now that's the top line, and the bottom line is the listen port. Okay, so let's get the bottom line in here, get the entire index file in here. Control S. All right. Now let's load that. Okay, so that was the cause of my error. The cause of my error was this bit here had been clipped off the file, the index.js file, when I copied it over. And you really kind of need the part where your server listens. And you know, all the console log stuff never showed up. Well, it didn't tell me that this wasn't happening because there was no place for this to not happen. Okay. Okay, so we'll come back here. Come back here. Let's stop the server. Control C. Let's start the server with node index.js. Server is started. Okay, so we'll reload this. Okay, and it's not going to remember what the title of it was, is it? No, it's not. Okay, and don't depend on me to remember it. That's for sure. Programming languages. Okay, here we go. Programming languages. Okay. Unknown database. Node MSQL. Oh, okay, I've misspelled that somewhere. Config node MySQL. Control S. Don't know if I'll have to reload this or not. Let's try it without reloading it. Yeah, so we'll have to stop it and start it. Okay, so let's do that. Ooh. Yeah. Control C. Let's try running it again. All right, let's try running it. Ta-da! Here's my data. Here's all my data, which I can present, you know, in a nice, neat format. Or we can view the source of it. There it is. It's a nice JSON object that I can stylize any way I want. So this is awesome. It works. So I have capacity to read. I'm going to stop here. It's 4:30. It's a longish episode with some success. So that makes me happy. And I'm not sure when I'll start the next episode, but this is definitely working now. So joy, oh joy. I'm happy. Talk to you later.